Hey everybody. There was a message that just came to my heart today because we all, as you can tell, are living a human experience, and we all have opposition. But look, before I get into opposition, I would like to share my perspective on what I think about faith, what I think about God, what I think about the Most High, or whatever you want to call it, because we all have many different conceptions of what God is and everything like that. First and foremost, what we call God or the Most High, Allah, any name that we use to describe God, the primordial energy that we all are governed by, is ruled by love. It is love. You see what I'm saying? There is nothing greater than it. There is nothing that overshines it. It is love. So, in our lives and as people, we all are sometimes fulfilling the prophecy of God. We are all fulfilling the purposes that we all have in life, which is obeying God. And then some of us, we don't follow, we don't obey God, we don't obey the love that's put in us at birth. We don't follow that because of maybe lessons that we have to learn, situations that we're put into that build our character into the person that we are now. Some of us victimize ourselves. Some of us understand what it is that we're going through, and then we learn how to take the opposition or to take the obstacle, whatever it is, and transform it into love again. This is life lessons. This is things that we're learning in life. These are things that is needed for experience so that we can gain wisdom, so that we can teach other people and pass it down. Now, no one would want to talk to somebody who hasn't been through anything in life. Nobody wants to, listen to a person who hasn't been through anything in life because they don't have wisdom. They don't have experience. And let me tell you something. Everything that we're going through in life, whether it's good, whether it's bad, it's all for a reason. And it is up to us to understand that reason and come to terms with that reason and implement that in our life. When I was growing up, I was brought into Christianity, and I remember I used to sit in the church bruh, I'm so drove, why do I have to come here? And one thing somebody told me was, you have to go for yourself. You can't go because somebody else asked you to go. You can't go because of what people are going to think about you or any of that. You have to go for yourself. And I was trying to understand, why do I even have to come to church? You know what I'm saying? Why is that even a thing? And the more that I got older, the more I understood what church represented. It wasn't about the people in the church. It wasn't about what those people thought about me or what those people had a conception of what God was in their mind. The purpose of church and the symbolism of church is to reconnect with pure love, is to reconnect to God itself, to Allah. That's what it is. You see what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't have this is my opinion. Okay? This is my opinion. But church is a temple. It's a place for people to go to reunite, to reconnect back to love, to remember that we are loved, to be restored, to be healed, so that they may rejoice when they return back to their lives. But we are so caught up in the ideologies and the teachings that we don't remember the true essence of what it is that we're doing spiritually. You see, some religions do give a lot of praise or worship to the wrong thing, and that is not healthy because it reflects in people's lives. You see, when you're not projecting or engaging in the right things, it shows in your life. So first you have to understand what it is that you want. First you have to understand how you think, because there's going to be people that's going to come along who's going to try to tell you what's what and try to tell you, certain things about God or love or whatever it is, but you have to know that for yourself. And that's the message that I got when I was younger. I have to know that source for myself, because if I continue to let people tell me what God was or tell me what the higher power is or whatever, I would be led astray. You see? So to make a decision to study spirituality in a way that made sense to me, you understand? And my personal views on God, the higher self, Allah, we have many different names. We have many different names for the one thing that we all reference. You understand? We just haven't came to an agreement collectively to be able to call it one thing. But there's a voice that's inside your head. There's a voice literally that's inside your head, and we would say Spirit told me, or God said to me. Like, you ever was said, like, somebody was ever telling you a story about how God spoke to them in a moment, and God told them, like, go over there and help that person, or stand up and shout and say that I love God and profess my name amongst men. That voice, that is real. That first mind, like when you about to do something, and then that first mind is like, you should do it, and then you second guess, or it'd be like, don't do it, and then you second guess. That's God. You see what I'm saying? That's your higher self. That's Allah. That's the primordial essence of, you know what I'm saying? Now you can disobey that voice, or you can go with the flow of that voice. Now when you see people that she wants me. So when people make a decision to listen to that voice, that does not necessarily mean that you're not going to face opposition. That necessarily doesn't mean that you're not going to face obstacles or see anything negative, quote unquote, in your life. That just means that whatever you go through, Allah is putting you in that position for greatness. Is giving you certain situations and certain experiences so that you can come out with the wisdom to be able to live in the grace. You can't just live in grace. Like, that's not a thing unless you are being put through certain things in order to understand the grace. Because if we were just walking around oblivious, that wouldn't be fun. We personally as humans, each and every one of us, we don't like people who are in denial. We don't like people who are oblivious. We don't like that, because that means that we're mentally underdeveloped in certain ways to understand certain things when we are vibrating at a very high consciousness. So in order to tweak the God formula, or as humans, then it must be more intricate and more detailed than what we would like it to be. We necessarily would be like, oh my God, I wish I would have never been going through this. I wish this would have never happened to me. But look what you've been through in order to gain the wisdom that you have. Look how many people you've helped because of the wisdom that you had. Look how many people lives you've touched and changed because of the opposition, the so-called opposition that you went through. You see? So when people go against the voice, then you then see wrath of Allah, of the Most High. You see the wrath. It may not come in a moment, right then and there, or 2-3 days down the line. It doesn't come that soon. You build and build, karma for yourself when you keep disobeying that voice. You start to, what we like to call, sell your soul to the devil. Like, that's what it is. You see? Because you keep going, you keep giving yourself away, you keep giving your soul away by disobeying that voice, and then you become something totally irate, totally negative, totally destructive. You see? And then you'll even have a moment where you stop and you start thinking to yourself like, damn, why did I disobey that voice? Like, why didn't I follow my first mind? Or you be like, in a moment, you be like, see, something told me to follow my first. We do it all the time. We see that in ourselves all the time. And it isn't until you stop and you really analyze what it is that you're going. It's probably because, this is my opinion, by the way, it's probably because you don't have a understanding of what that life force is in your life. It's probably because you don't understand it. And society nowadays, the society that we live in, with the ripping and running, and everybody have to go to work for 12, 16-hour shifts, and everybody's doing technically stuff that they really shouldn't be doing in order to tap within them to understand who they are spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. We think these thoughts, and then we quickly get distracted because of our environment. So it makes us not, it makes us like not want to worry about that aspect of life when it comes to understanding yourself spiritually, because for number one, you don't have enough time. For number two, it's so hard to understand when you have so many different ideologies coming at you at one time, because you'll stop there and think like, oh, if you heard that voice, okay, then you'll run into Christianity, then you'll run into a whole bunch of other religions that's there that really, is kind of beating around the bush of what you're actually supposed to know as a soul. So this could become very frustrating spiritually. So we like to run from, ourselves in that aspect. But I reassure you that you'll never be able to get past the spiritual aspect of you, because on this plane of existence, we are here to evolve as souls. We're here to learn things and to understand them and to overcome them, to put one foot in front of the other, to get to where we need to be as a soul. Not where we want to be, but where we need to be. So when you start to understand yourself spiritually, you start to look at life different. When you start to understand yourself spiritually, you start to look at people different. You start to respond to yourself different. You understand? Nevertheless, if you are a person out there who is spiritual and you are facing opposition or hard times or down times or whatever you like to call it, just know that your opposition is preparing you for greatness. Because when you are understanding your life and you are understanding yourself in a spiritual aspect, an emotional aspect, and you vibrate in the name of love, in the name of love, then no weapon formed against you shall prosper. There can be nothing that comes into your life to tear you down. There can be nothing that comes into your life to break you apart. There can be nothing that comes your way to discourage you, because at the end of the day, you have a love in your heart. It doesn't matter about what you've been through, who did what to you, and why they did it. What matters is that you keep pushing, because now you have the wisdom to give to somebody else who may be going through that, and to further evolve your soul so that you will know what it is that the lesson presented to you. Your job here, once you've gotten your lesson through your opposition, is to continue to relinquish love unto whoever you touch. No matter how fucked up somebody did you, no matter how messed up it may seem or feel or whatever it is, you should keep pushing through. Don't ever give anybody else what somebody gave to you that you didn't like, because two wrongs don't make a right. You should always do the right thing in life. It doesn't matter what happens. You see, we would like to somehow sometimes get around the opposition and go under it and try to break through it. And some of us will even do the wrong thing to get rid of the opposition, but that's not the way. That's not the way. You should never do wrong to get over, under, or move past, or try to forget your opposition. You have to go through it. You have to go through your opposition, feel it, embody it, embrace it, understand it, and then keep going forward and do the right thing in the process to go forward. Don't let demonic thoughts, energies, people, whatever you want to call it, don't let that control your mind to do something bad or to do something wrong, because you have to live for you. You're going to be accountable for everything and all the actions that you did. And today is the day to repent from whatever it is that you felt like you did wrong. Whatever if you did to make you feel like you made the wrong decision. Because guess what? You have another day. It may not be guaranteed for some, but the case is that right now in this moment you should be taking control over your life, because of the fact that it may not be granted, but it is presented. You see, a lot of people in life, a lot of stuff is presented to us, kind of like the saying that you have a child, and that child is fed from a silver spoon its whole life, and that child starts to grow up and starts to not really care about the opportunities that the child has, or gifts and love that's being given to the child. The child may not care about that anymore, but we should always be grateful for something that we have, because you never know when you're not going to have it. You understand? You never know who's out there who don't have it. So you have to embrace it. It doesn't matter how long you've been given, it's been given to you, or it doesn't matter how long you've given it away. You have to do it because you vibrate, literally you vibrate in the name of love. Because wherever you go, you want to see love. Whoever you touch, you want them to remember you for your pure heart, and not for some underlying intentional selfish agenda that you may have. Because it's not all about you. It's not all about you. It's not all about me. I live my life for other people. I don't let my life be dictated by what other people thinking. I have my limits and I have my boundaries, but I'm constantly living my life for other people. You understand what I'm saying? And that gives me strength to be able to be an example, to be able to talk to somebody when they're down, to be able to be there for my daughter, to teach her who she is and how strong she is. That I will always be honored to, fulfill that position. That gives me strength. It really does. Being an example for the world keeps me going. And I know that for sure, as long as I continue to live my life from a pure place and repent from my ways and ask Allah for forgiveness, to forgive those who I have hurt, to forgive those who I have crossed, to forgive myself for those who I have crossed, and amongst other really foul things that I may have did in life, I give it to God. I give it to Allah. That's the only thing I can do. And I move from that space. And I want to go into that space because that space is called faith. That space is called faith. You have to have faith. When I was a little girl, I literally felt like I was walking on water. And I still feel like I'm walking on water. People really don't understand that saying when it's like, you gotta walk on water and you gotta trust in Allah. You have to trust in God. You have to trust in that higher power and to be able to, move the way that you're moving. And I really truly believe that I have had faith from the very beginning of time that I could ever think about myself in a spiritual way. And that has led me in so many directions, in so many opportunities, and so many obstacles. But I have came out every single time, because my heart is what solidifies my position in grace. My heart is what solidifies my faith in the Most High. So no weapon against me shall prosper, because at the end of it all, just like you have a pure heart. And sometimes it may be scary to walk in faith because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's out there. You're afraid of the opposition. You're afraid to get hurt. Well, you know what? The truth is what it is. And people are going to hurt you. You just have to find the ones that's worth suffering for. You understand what I'm saying? You have to have faith and to know that everything is going to be okay, whether they are here today or gone tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, anything and everything that you've touched or learned is preparing you for greatness. You just have to see the greatness. You just have to want the greatness. You have to know the greatness. But if you don't know the greatness, feel it, see it, then there would be no greatness in front of you. You know innately that you are here for a certain purpose. You know innately that you have love to give, but you stop because you let other people rule how you are now expressing yourself because they may have hurt you. Now, there's many dynamics and many aspects to what I'm saying, and you can perceive it however you like. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that people come together, and it may not be the prettiest because you're never gonna have a perfect relationship. You're not with anyone. Not with your mom, not with your dad, not with your sister, your brother, not with your friend, not with your lover. That's not realistic. It's just not. You're not going to find you may have a perfect union for what you both are going to put each other through to learn about each other and then to learn yourself in the process and to come out and overcome it with wisdom. Now that is realistic. You see? So you're going to experience some type of suffering. You're going to experience some type of distress, some type of opposition. But you have to know that that's, like I said, preparing you for greatness. I prophesize that all of my wrongdoings, all of my shortcomings, all of my oppositions, all of my obstacles, all of the negativity that has been shown in my life, that I have been exposed to in my life, is preparing me something for that I can't even see yet. Something that I can't even feel yet, maybe in this moment, but I know it. I know it. I know that there is more to me. I know that there is more to my life. It doesn't matter how fucked up I may have been 5 seconds ago. But I know that my future is brighter than a diamond. It's brighter than what I am experiencing right now. And I prophesize this in my life because nobody else will. And if I'm down in the dumps, then I'm going to stay down in the dumps. If I'm being low down and negative, then I'm going to continue to be negative. But I shine. And I'm moving forward. And I know that all of my obstacles are preparing me for greatness. Because I have wisdom now. I have knowledge now. I know what and what not to do now. I know who and who not to trust now. And so I let all of the love, all of the joy, all of the pain, all of the everything that I'm going to experience for the rest of my life be rained down upon me in the grace of Allah, in the name of Allah, so that I must and be able, with His love, continue to have a pure heart. And I'm not going to take that away from myself. Some people like to take it away from themselves, but I'm not taking that away from myself, because I'm more than what somebody is telling me. I'm more than what my circumstance or my situation has allowed me to see in this very moment. I am great, no matter what I've been through. And I'm going to teach my daughter the same thing. I'm going to teach her, you are strong. You are great. And don't let anybody or nothing ever make you second guess that. Don't ever make something or someone ever take that away from you. Don't ever let that happen. You have to do that for yourself. For yourself. If you're not comfortable with being by yourself, if you're not comfortable with expressing yourself, if you're not comfortable shining your light, then you need to get back in touch with that. You need to take some time to yourself and understand yourself and really feel who you are, so that you can walk with confidence, so that you can walk with grace, so that you can walk in the name of Allah to have a pure heart and touch the lives and change their lives, who you are here to change and who you are set here to be the example for. So, I rebuke, by all means, the things and the people and whoever is in my life that's telling me that I am not going to be great because of my circumstance. No, I don't allow it. I'm not allowing it. I'm not allowing it. I'm great. And all of my opposition is setting me up for greatness. Now let's get it. I hope everybody have a beautiful, blessed day today. I hope that everyone realize and understand what you are being given that this very day, and then be grateful for it, and then actually take that gratefulness and give it to somebody else, because somebody else needs it, whether you know it or not. Look in your life and understand what you're getting. But I'm going to get my baby now. Y'all have a beautiful day.